Yeah, believe it or not, it's raining in California right now. It's a little confusing. I don't know what to do. It's not even raining that much. I don't know if I should go out and buy like a 50-pound jacket in order to prepare for, like, for the chance of like another small rain tomorrow. But I'm doing well though. I'm staying dry. There is a drought. Very serious. Yeah. Yeah, believe it or not, it's raining in California right now. A little confusing. I don't know what
Yeah,
to
I've seen a lot of rain in my time. I can tell you that.
do.
From Manchester, it's not a day goes by that it doesn't rain. I don't have much sympathy for Cesar over there. Wah, wah, wah.
Talking point. Oh, easily, I think the most apparent one, I think it was the one that everybody was talking about today, was the assist that Chicharito had earlier today. We know he can score from inside the box, and earlier this season we saw a couple goals he scored outside the box. But I think what we saw earlier today with that back pass was beautiful. It was great, and it was really fantastic for him to see something like that. And it not only shows that he's hungry to go out there and really prove himself, but it also shows that he still has that talent, in order to make something as awesome as that pass was. So I think for me that was to me that was the first talking point. Honestly, I could watch that. I could probably watch that assist over and over again for about 15 or 20 minutes and not get tired of it. I might somehow make it the background of my phone if I can have it go on loop.
I'm going to go for the violence after the Atlas game on Sunday. I was at the game at the Estadio Jalisco. Atlas, no title since 1951. It was supposed to be, it seemed like, Sunday was, he went into the game against Monterrey 1-0 up, and it all went wrong. It all went wrong. Got beaten fair and square on the field, and afterwards the fans just, the emotion kind of overflowed. Mad violence afterwards, like fans kind of throwing barriers at the police, like throwing rocks, clashing with the police. I think there's about 20 police officers injured. Um, I went straight to the mix zone, had a quick chat to Edgar Castillo after the game. I didn't see the main bit of violence, but went outside after, and the police are still there. There's a very tense smell of tear gas and a taste of tear gas in your mouth, not just in like
Oh,
kind of
that's crazy.
at the ground, but like kind of they'd thrown a lot of tear gas around, and even my eyes started watering and stuff. So it was crazy. It's not the first time this has happened. This happened at Atlas against Chivas last earlier this year. It needs to stop. The FMF, not just the FMF, the clubs and also the authorities have to do something. There were reports that there were only 250 official police there at the game to control a crowd of 50,000. It's just a joke. It's not the
Yeah.
first time it's happened. If they don't act, we're gonna. I think honestly, we're gonna have a disaster on our hands in Mexican football. If they don't kind of try and stop this, because Sunday was just ridiculous. And that, you know,
All right. So before I start, I don't know, Lisa, if you see the comments, but I see some people saying that they can't hear you. But I guess while you figure that out, I'll go on to the second topic. So yeah, good little segue there. But so my topic was Moreno, Hector Moreno, playing today. I think it's easily one of our best defenders right now on the national team, and I think it's massive, not only for his future, and then, there's rumors that he's going to be going to Tottenham during the transfer window in January, but it's massive obviously for El Tri. When we've had so many recent issues defensively, and it's been very very obvious those defensive issues we've had. I know the current coach of Tottenham is Pochettino, and he coached. He used to coach Moreno during his first year in Espanyol, and I know that was the same season that was the same season that Moreno won the Player of the Year for Espanyol. So it seems likely that Pochettino thinks highly of Moreno. So hopefully that transfer will happen. Hopefully him getting playing time today is just a good sign for things to come for his future.
No, definitely. We saw you there. Yeah. Yeah.
Like I said.
I'll go for my second point then. While we see you.
Yeah, might as well.
I'm gonna go for something a bit different, but in the under-20s league, Club Tijuana beat Atlas last weekend, and they played 7 Americans, 6 starting Americans. The majority of Cholos under-20s starting team was players born in the US. I mean, it's pretty outstanding in itself, that statistic, but you look at the fact that there's an under-20 World Cup, I believe, next year, and all these players, I went to the Atlas to watch them on Saturday, and I mean, they're all really good players, and Stevie Rodriguez, for example, he's been on loan to Dorados, he's come back, he's played really well. Alejandro Guido has had a few chances in the first team, he's playing really well, obviously Paul Arriola as well. Something special is going on down there with Cholos and the American under-20s there. And when you think about it from like a kind of US perspective, I mean, I don't know. I want to just throw out the question there: has there ever been a club team that has dedicated itself to producing more American players than this one? Than Club Team?
I think Cholos are definitely and I think it's part of their identity, and I think it's really smart from their standpoint to try to embrace that. They're a team that's on the border, and they're going to embrace American players. I think it's really smart for them, to continue doing that. And it is interesting to see what that not only means for that team, but like what that also means for Mexican American soccer in the future, where these players could potentially play for a Mexican side or an American side. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, when you think, it's like, I just think, imagine if there's like 5 players in the US 23-man squad for the under-20 World Cup. What does that say about, I don't know, the whole relationship with US youth and Mexico and Mexican soccer? I don't know. I just found it fascinating. Lito, what are you saying there?
Yeah, let's give him a test run. Let's see if he can test out his voice right now. Should I go to my third point then? All right, then I'll go to my third point, which is even though Wiesa was making fun of it earlier today, but I think the under 21 team. I know it's not a big deal, that that the under 21 team with the home field advantage, beat Cuba, Venezuela, but I think the silver lining all this is I think that Kubo did very well, and I think it'll be exciting to see how he progresses, with the national team. And I think him playing in that tournament is just one step forward for the kid. He's only 21, and I think it's gonna be like I said, really really exciting for him. And I think it's not senior national team experience, but I think that under 21 experience was still important for him, and it gives him that little bit of little bit of morale, a little bit of a boost, for him to want to do well.
No, definitely. It's going to be, I think, December 15 is the is the final date for Hugo Torres for MLS to decide whether they put the option on him. So not long now, not long till we find out what his final decision is.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with a bit of a boring one for my third talking point here. Carlos Vela, 3 goals on Saturday against Elche. Was it Saturday or Friday? Was it Friday?
Yeah, it was over the weekend. Yeah.
You know, none of the 3 goals are absolutely ridiculous, but you know, he takes his tally up now to 5. Takes him to 5 goals in 10 starts. So back on course. Just the nonchalance with which Vela plays and just seems to stroke the ball in. Just like for Mexico against the Netherlands in that friendly, it's just like there's just this arrogance that I just can't help really liking about him. You know, obviously off the field's a different issue, but on the field he's just got something special. And I mean, I wonder how long Real Sociedad are going to be able to keep hold of him if he continues to play in that way. I don't know. I think he's clearly got the ability to play for a team that's regularly in the Champions League. So I don't know. Just it's great to be watching Vela now and knowing that he's actually in the national team. Instead of just being frustrated with it.
He could have had 4 as well. I don't know if you saw. Like he had one of this long distance shot. It looked like from 30 yards out. Like I said, just nonchalance. The guy was just comfortable and confident out there. He could have easily had 4. So it is really exciting to see what he could be doing.
All right. What's your final? Oh, is it
that was my final one. I don't have a 4th one. we still told me 3. I don't know what you're saying about 4 right here.
No, we just carry on until we run out.
We just keep going. Let's see, it's raining today. That's a talking point. Okay, should we go to the top 25 then?
Yeah, we could talk about Wiesel's music taste. Well, he can't defend himself. You know what I mean? Well, he's just there having.
The great thing is, Wiesel can't defend himself right now because no one could hear him. Well, I mean, we could hear him, but we can say anything that we want.
What was his favorite musician?
I believe he was playing Shakira the last time we went to go visit him.
Who was the other one? Phil Collins or something?
Was it Phil Collins?
Maybe I don't know. Anyways.
All right. So I guess we'll take over from here. Should we go into the top 25? Should I tell you some quick things that I found out about our top 25?
Yeah.
So.
Explain a little bit.
What was that, Wiesel? All right. So the top 25. I was a little inspired by. I saw there's this great website. Like if you guys follow American soccer, maybe you don't. It's called American Soccer Now, and they have a top 100 list. And I saw it there, and I was wondering like why. And they update it every month. And I was wondering like why don't we have anything like that? 100 might be a little too audacious at this point. So I thought maybe let's just try 25. So I emailed a bunch of you guys, and I got a few responses back. And what I want to do is every month I want to figure out who we think are the best 25 players, not all time, not the past 5 years, but just emphasizes on the past month and the form they've had perhaps before then. So I believe it was Tom. I believe it was Jolie. I believe it was Naib, Johnny, and Jason were the ones who responded to me. And I'll give just a quick. I won't go through all 25. I'm sure you guys have all seen the list, but I'll go quickly through the first top 10 that we voted on. And what I did is I just took the average of all the rankings. So number 1 we had Hector Herrera. Number 2 we had Carlos Vela. 3 Andres Guardado. 4 Giovanni Dos Santos. 5 Chicharito. 6 Rafa. 7 Raúl Jiménez. 8 Tecatito. 9 Hector Moreno, and 10 Jonathan Dos Santos.
I think you're back on. Sorry to interrupt.
Are you can anybody hear Wiesel right now?
Can you guys hear me?
If you can hear Wiesel, type Shakira right now onto the chat. Type Shakira.
I think you're back on now. But keep going with your top 10. Keep going.
That was it. So I know we got some interesting feedback from some people as well. But really quickly, I wanted to go over some interesting stuff I found. So our three youngest players that we had in the top 25 is we had Ponchito, who's the youngest player in our top 25, who's 20, and then after that we had Tecatito and Kubo. And our three oldest players were Talavera, who's 32, Chuy Corona, who's 33, and Rafa, who's 35. So I thought that was fairly interesting, and it looks like someone just said yes, Wisa, so I think you're on now.
Woohoo! Sorry, guys. We apologize. I don't know what happened there, but we'll be back on. And sorry to interrupt, Cesar, but it looked like the camera was on me a lot, so just make sure you kind of go into some technical difficulties. But Cesar,
we got two Shakira, so we're good now, Wisa.
We're good now. All right. Sorry about that. This is what happens sometimes. We'll do a Kickstarter, and maybe we can get some donations for a better production team. Go ahead, Cesar. We'll be back on the top 25. I think it's a lot of fun, especially we're doing, and you're seeing that. So.
Yeah, I was surprised that Hector Herrera was first. I thought Vela would definitely be first. That was one surprise. I'll go through a few quick surprises.
I think, you know what it was? I think a few people sent in their ratings right before Vela scored that hat-trick. I think that's honestly what happened.
Guardado at 3. I don't know. I had Hector Moreno at 9.
Yeah.
I know in my list I had him, I think, at number 3.
I think that's where we kind of go on the list, and it's going to evolve. I think that's better because is it the potential of Mexican player? Is that what we're looking for? What we've seen them at their best, or what they did in that month? I think that's where we got to clarify because
I guess maybe that's what we have to clarify in the future. What I wanted it to be is I wanted there to be an emphasis on their most recent month, but also considering it's almost like 60% the most recent month, 40% the form they've had beforehand.
Gotcha. I think that's where the
I don't know what you guys think. Yeah.
The equation's kind of going, but it makes sense. I mean, Hector Moreno. Why is he in the top 25 when he hasn't done anything? But yet he's still the 9th best player in the team.
Yeah. No, I thought it was more overall like who's best. You know what I mean? And I think Moreno. I don't know. I think he's right up there.
I think that kind of goes with if we're just ranking with the best you have, having Moreno in the top 5 would be perfect. Would be exactly. But will he ever drop down? Because of it. So I think that's where it's kind of like what Cesar said, looking at to see that percentage kind of an all-time. I mean, we're always gonna have Giovanni's amazing goal in 2011 be right up there. That it just boosts his ranking up there. So I think that's what
number 1 would be Gio's goal, and then number 2 would be Gio as a
goal and Gio. But I think it's gonna be fun and having more on it. Thank you, Cesar, for obviously putting that together, and I think it's going to be fun seeing out. Obviously January's and February's, and then obviously when the national team plays, it should be on there. So I think it's going to be great to see a list of top 25, and then going with the list that Piojo has as his top 25. I think it'll be kind of fun. But we'll be discussing a lot more here at in the Mexican Soccer Show, and you should be seeing it on our footmexsource.com, which is down also. Just a bunch of problems that are happening. On my part, but it should be up pretty soon. But it should be fun. Should be fun. Anything else to add, Tom? The top 25.
Top 25. No. Maybe. I think Jonathan Dos Santos needs to do a bit more to get into the top 10, and I thought that who else? Tecatito, I think as well. I mean, the early days, obviously big potential, but I think it's still early days for him to be above some of the likes, the more established players who are, doing the thing week in, week out, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Looking at it, I think it'll clarify more, especially. I mean, I still think he's not. I mean, maybe top 25. Jonathan Dos Santos. I haven't seen him do anything, But looking at that, the honorable mentions: Jonathan Espericueta, Massa Rodriguez, and Edgar Gerardo Lugo. I thought that was pretty funny. Especially with Lugo, but Massa having probably the best defender in the World Cup. It's a controversy. It's always a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
I'll just say really quickly, I think in the end, too, I don't know if there really is too much of a right or wrong answer. I think we probably have a little bit of a bias, and it's just all opinion. But I think I think it just starts discussion, and I think that's important for everybody to take part in discussion. I think in the end it'll be pretty fun for all of us to do that.
Definitely a lot of fun. All right, before we get into the Liguilla, to the playoffs, I have a little surprise, let's say, tweet, if you were going to tweet out right now with the hashtag champion. My champion for the 2014 playoffs, whatever we call it, end of the year playoffs, if we might translate it, will be Cesar and Tom.
All right. I'm going to say, man, I was really pushing for Toluca. I'm going to continue to say Toluca, though, just to maintain consistency. I want to say Tigres, and I know Tom's going to say Tigres. I'm going to say Toluca.
All right, Toluca. Tom?
I'm almost the opposite. Like, I said Tigres all the way. And now I'm thinking about Toluca. But I'm only saying that because the news came out today that Juninho is out for Tigres. He's the captain. He's a centre-back. He's the top scorer.
He's got 5 for the team, doesn't he? I think, yeah, he's got more goals than anybody else on the team right now. Yeah.
He's a damn good player, and there's even talk that next summer he might be involved for Mexico because he's naturalized.
Oh, yes, I can't wait to have that conversation. Ayala, Torres Nilo, that's some key. You have Hercules Gomez. It's stepping up now. So it's not. I think it's Tigres is it's the injuries. Yeah,
I think Tigres. I think they're a mature team now. I think Tuca Ferretti's almost been. I don't know. I think he's been there since 2010, if I'm not mistaken. He's almost like the Mexican Alex Ferguson. If you put it in Mexican coach years compared to Premier League coach years, he's probably going on 25 years.
Yeah.
So, but he's got his team playing. You can tell they know the style. They're really wily. I think that's the best word to describe Tigres. They're hardened. You know what I mean? They grind out results. They know what they're doing. I think they've gone 12 games undefeated. Yeah. And in that time, they've not won one game by two goals.
Yeah.
They've not won by 2 goals. Every time they've just got what they needed to do done. And I think that's why I've had them favourite. The 12 games unbeaten. They're a tough team. And the other thing I think is that Estadio Universitario in Monterrey is just probably the most difficult place to go and play in terms of the atmosphere, and just intense. And I think that the team at home is inspired by that. And the record over the last few years is pretty unbelievable at home. So yeah, I'd say I just go slightly Tigres, but I like Toluca as well. I think they're a really hard team. I think that 11 out of the last 26 goals from Toluca have been from set pieces. Yeah. It's almost like the Simeone, the Atletico Madrid. They're so well organized, and so they know exactly what they're doing, and I don't know, they really make the most of those opportunities at set pieces. And Valesquez is scoring. Brizuela's coming back. Lobos is doing all right. It's they're a decent team as well. I think what I think we can both agree on, Cesar, is that I really do think that the winner of the league is going to come from that side, Toluca and Tigres. I think they're the better on-form teams, and I think they just got a little bit more than America and Monterrey at this point. Especially since America and Monterrey, and I'm going to include Toluca too. They've just been struggling recently, and you could argue that they made it into the playoffs, so they're not playing as hard. But Toluca, I don't think they've won a game in their last 6, if I remember correctly. America hasn't been doing well recently. Monterrey, before that win recently, they haven't been doing well recently. It's just Tigres are the only team that's actually been standing out recently with those wins. And I think you mentioned it too, that Tigres, they haven't lost a game since August. A league game since August, which is it's fantastic. So I'm still, I want to say I want to say Toluca, but yeah, now I'm switching. And even though Juninho is injured, yourself out of it. So, I don't know. No, I'm gonna stay with Toluca. I'll stay with Toluca. I'll stay with Toluca. Yeah. I think it's gonna be an absolute quality game. I think that within the 4 and even in the quarterfinals, I think there's not much difference between the teams. I think in the Mexican press they always use the word mediocre. It's mediocre this, and I don't think they understand the meaning of the word. You know, just because it's like they're quite equal doesn't mean it's mediocre. Just because America got past Pumas because they finished higher in the table isn't mediocre. I thought America did really well to get past Pumas. Pumas had absolutely nothing to lose in that series. They snuck into the playoffs. You know, they gave absolutely everything. And America, at the end of the day, they got the job done. And same with Toluca against a really tricky Chiapas side. And same with Tigres against Pachuca. I mean, I don't know, they always say mediocre. It's like, unless that's spectacular, but anything else is mediocre, when really amount of goals in a game doesn't really... I mean, if anything, it says there's a lack of quality rather than, you know, real quality.
Yes.
Oh, sorry,
in my no, that's, if anything we've learned anything, it's that whatever we're going to think is going to happen, it's not going to happen in the Mexican League, especially with the finals. So I'm with you guys, obviously Tigres, but I don't know why I'm just seeing like America coming back, playing like they were in the beginning of the year, and seeing that. So I will be the one out there for Johnny, because he's not with us right now. I'll say America and Eddie.
America, like, they're kind of just like the same way that Monterrey are relying on Pavon. I think America are just really relying on Peralta recently for goals. I think the top goal scorers after Peralta are Layun, who hasn't scored in a while. Yeah, and then after Peralta and Layun, I think it's Raúl Jiménez who's the top goal scorer for America. So I guess they're gonna have to really rely on.
Big extreme.
You guys weren't able to hear that with my problems with the mute, but all right. Well, let's. We kind of already went into it already with who you have. Or go ahead, Tom. You were gonna say something else?
No, I think it's interesting, America, right now. You know, fascinating time for the club, because you've got a team who finished top of the regular season, who have made the way to the semi-finals after beating the main Mexico City rivals, and yet there seems to be this feeling that the fans aren't quite satisfied. You know, they're basically 4 games away from winning title number 12, which would take them past Chivas. You know, they're in the mix. You know, they're where majority of Liga MX clubs would love to be, and it just seems like they're not satisfied. And this rumor keeps coming back about Gustavo Matosas. Sorry, Huiso. Sorry about that. But
we already knew that way before. Anyways, we knew that for a while.
But you know, like, and I don't. But you know, I don't really get it. I mean, look at the America team right now. Goltz, a decent player. You got Mares, Molina, Luis Gabriel Rey, who's 34, Quick Mendoza. I mean,
but Tom, it has to be just because of the level that they're playing. The fans are, I mean, even us, we're criticizing America. Pumas, Chivas, Cruz Azul, they weren't able to beat, I mean, the rivals during the regular season. They went in, they kind of just dozed off after they knew they were going in. To say that America, you know, is a front runner, that's why you haven't picked them, because they haven't done anything in the last 5-6 games, losing games, tying games. I mean, Chivas was able to get a point off of them, and then coming in this playoffs and then winning this way, which is kind of, they were down 1-0 coming in. If after the first half you were looking like, wow, you're like, America's not going to win if they keep playing. I think that's where the fans are coming in. They're not happy about it. And then also Mohamed going, you know, not talking to the press, saying it's not important, finally coming out now, you know, saying that there's a win. So I think that's where that's coming from.
Yeah, but my argument for Mohamed is, like, if you look at that America team now, and you look at the Sambuesa's been injured for a while and he's not 100% there. Layun's been injured for the last few weeks. You know, just even though he played the first half in the first leg, and you know he played the full game in the second, he's not 100%. And then I don't know, you go through that America team player for player, and then go through the Tigres team player for player, and I think Mohamed's done, you know, very well to get it to finishing top in the regular season and through to the semis. I mean, I don't know. I mean, obviously, America fans are different, and I mean, that's what they do add a nice little ingredient to the league, because they never seem to be happy unless they're league champions and beating other teams 4-0 every week. You know what I mean?
True.
Do you blame the fans though for being like a little upset when they haven't? Like, I know some West and like Layuna have been injured, but I think that first win against Pumas was their first in like I think it was like 5, 6 games, and then like it's 8C. They should be doing much better than that. So I don't know if I really blame the fans for being that unsatisfied with the team, even though they're just 4 games away from winning the title.
Yeah.
True.
Well,
Very, very true.
think a lot.
I'm just starting the pot.
I think there's a few teams, there's a few fans of teams in Guadalajara who wouldn't mind being where America are.
I think all the people wouldn't mind what not gonna lie.
Can think of 3 teams in Guadalajara that won't mind.
All right. Well, I mean, obviously we talked about the game. Maybe some keys to the games. That America Monterrey, to say that America has now have any easier, I think it gets harder. Pumas wasn't, just like you said, Tom. Pumas, wasn't doing anything. And America was just kind of stagnant. Also, it took a little bit of anything to just beat them, especially with that goal rule, regardless if you're okay with that or not. But this is going to be a very different, especially Monterrey coming in. When you see Monterrey kind of get hot, watch out. America, I think, is going to have a lot of tough. And seeing Luis Gabriel Rey coming out in interviews today saying that they're going to take this game even more seriously. They don't have anything won yet. But can America make it to the final? And if they lose, would it be surprising?
No.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Good. No, and I say that only because on Sunday Monterrey were brilliant. I really thought they were absolutely phenomenal. I thought Carlos Barra, the coach, has been under so much pressure. There's been so many rumors there as well about a bigger name coming in. Carlos Barra, he looks a bit like a geek. He doesn't look like, he does look at, he likes the numbers, he likes the stats, and I think fans in Monterrey were like, who's this guy? Why is he not, you had Tomas Boy on the other bench, who's El Jefe, the biggest macho guy in the Mexican game, and then you had Barra there, just like the quiet guy doing what. And Barra absolutely schooled Tomas Boy on Sunday. He changed the front 3 players, put Pavon, Arellano, and Candido Ramirez in there, and he absolutely cut Atlas apart basically at will. Monterrey, if they play like that, they drop Suazo as well, which is absolutely massive. You look at all the titles. I think he's won 5 major titles with Monterrey. He's been the figurehead, the guy that everybody looks to for that Monterrey team, and now it's Dolan Pavon.
Yeah.
Pavon, tell you what, on Sunday he was unbelievable as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. Atlas had no response to him, and I think the key to this game for me is what America can do to stop Pavon, because at the minute, if he plays like that, he can win and Monterrey remains solid. He can win the league for Monterrey. I've got no doubts about that.
Yeah, and especially with Suazo coming in, although I know that he's been there, but when Suazo can play even to this level, he can still play, and bring him in, especially during these situations.
Well, that's the thing. I think it sent a message to Suazo that you're not an automatic starter anymore.
Mm-hmm.
We've got other players.
He's only scored 2 goals so far this season too, so I think that's good that they set him. And he missed that PK in the last game, so yeah, of course, I think it's a good message they sent to him.
One thing to say about America, I know that we're talking about, it's not like they cruise by, but I applaud Moises Munoz in that game. I think Pumas did attack. Pumas is coming in. Moises Munoz, we could have been talking about a different outcome if it wasn't for his, I think, saving almost America with what they were doing, at least with Pumas coming in the first half. Tigres, obviously Toluca, unless we have anything else on America. Monterrey predictions, I guess. We've already said Toluca, but it'd be fun to say. Is America going to lose? And if they do lose, is a goodbye, Mohamed. But we'll talk about that a little later. So, what do you guys think, America or Monterrey?
I'm gonna say Monterrey. I think Monterrey is gonna squeeze by. I think Pavon's gonna step it up. I think. Oh, there we go. Yeah. I think. Like we saw, from all the quarterfinal games that I saw, I think Monterrey's last game was the most dominating performance that I had seen. It was also the most exciting game to watch as well. And Pavon he had no trouble going through that Atlas defense, going through like 2 or 3 defenders at a time. I think he's going to step it up. I think he's already and I know Tom and I were talking about that like on Twitter, but he's already scored 17 of 24 Monterrey's goals. You know, he's massive. Not scored, but he's been involved with 17-24. I think he's had 12 goals and 5 assists. But I think it's gonna be really, really difficult for America to stop him, and I think he's gonna be the standout player, and I think he's gonna help them overcome America.
Monterrey.
I'm gonna go Monterrey as well. I just think America. I think they rely a lot on Sambuesa and Layun. I think the big players, and I think the big players in terms of feeding Peralta as well. Those three are absolutely key going forward. And you know, Sambuesa just didn't look up. It didn't look right against Pumas, and Layun hasn't looked right in a few weeks now. So unless they can step it up, I'm going Monterrey, because Monterrey, a team that really Barra, so many rumours about him leaving and stuff. It's like they've got nothing to lose now. Monterrey, nobody expects him to go past it. All the pressure is on America. It's the big club. It's America. I'm going Monterrey.
I think Monterrey were a little bit of a sleeping giant too, because at the beginning of the season they dominated the league. It was, I don't know what happened, like, you know, in the last 4 or 5 games of the season, it's almost like they knew they were going to make the playoffs. Just kind of like, you know, it took a step back. But I think they were by.
But that's what happens in the Mexican League, the Liga MX.
Yeah.
Awards to just being in there. I mean, 44% of the teams make the playoffs.
Yeah.
So it's like there's too many that are going in. I mean, as much as I'm thankful for León making it last, and you know, whatever, it's still, I think there's way too many if we're gonna have short seasons like that to have 8, you know, that many teams going in. I would say, you know, start with the 4 and then coming in and make it interesting that way. But that's never gonna happen with all the money.
I think that the double season and the 2 playoffs is just exaggerated. I was chatting on Twitter to Brian Strauss from Sports Illustrated. He's asking me, like, you know, what's up with Cruz Azul? Like, you know,
so much, man, so much.
We're not going to get to Cruz Azul now, but I mean, they're going to the Club World Cup, and it's like, I would just think about Cruz Azul's 2014 first half of the year, unbelievable. Yeah, obviously it slips up in the playoff, but it's Cruz Azul, isn't it? You have Champions League. They won it, you know, and then it's like, all right, now they're going to go represent CONCACAF and Mexico in the Club World Cup, and you're like, oh no. And then you watch the last few games, and you're like, oh my lord, like, how can you explain that? Can you imagine, like, an English or a Spanish team being so good and then so bad 6 months later with the same players and the same manager? I mean, I don't know. It has to, for me, the only reason I can think is that it has to come down to the way the league is. And then you can basically, you know, you don't make it one season, you just have a bit of a rest.
Well, there's also so many tournaments that they're playing, that they're going for. How many different teams, how many different tournaments are we playing that you know, teams go out there? What emphasis are we really putting on the Club World Cup when we have the Libertadores, the Liga MX, the Copa MX, the CONCACAF Champions? It's like they got to split them up, you know, so the second winner, the first winner of this or whatever. I think it's just, I mean, who would we send right now from last season would be León, right? And look at where León is at now. So I think that's where it's just kind of there's just so many. To talk about Cruz Azul, we can go on a live feed to Jason, who is on the chat. Jason Markowitz is on the chat right now. I'm sure he's dying to say something. He at least has something to have. A question, and I know this. I can look this up really quick. Where is the Club World Cup this year?
Morocco? I think
Morocco, Lebanon?
No, I think it's Morocco. Pretty sure. We can look it up right now. But as talk about the Club World Cup, I know we were talking about this earlier. Luckily for Cruz Azul, the team that they're playing,
oh yes,
currently in last place. It's currently in last place in the Australian A-League. The Western City Wanderers. I think they have an 0-3-4 record. They were just founded. This team was just founded two and a half years ago, and they somehow, you know, won their respective Champions League version, like, out there. But now, like, I mean, perhaps their league is just as unpredictable as ours. But yeah, no, I think
still might put a few dollars on them to beat Cruz Azul, though. That's my tip.
Hey, Hey, they won their league, and I mean somehow they got in. I think regardless of who plays the second game, they're going to be playing against Real Madrid. So Chicharito's going to score for sure. That's what we got to do.
Yeah, against Western Sydney Wanderers.
Oh, we're not laughing. We're just having fun. We're having fun. Today, Tigres Toluca, to kind of end, look at that. I know both of you, you're kind of split on this. Tigres or Toluca. Tigres coming in with, the Tuca Ferretti, just like you said, the coaching style he has, you can see it in his players. I think everybody's jumping on Tigres, but obviously they went to Juninho. Missing is pretty key. So before we kind of take off, just kind of the keys on that game, Tom. I know that you have to leave pretty soon. Some other commitments, so take it away, and then we'll wish you goodbye, and then we can end the show.
I'm going for Tigres to win. I think that Juninho not being there is a massive blow. But I think if you take the positive of it, I think the players are going to really rally around and kind of do that thing where they try and win it for him, kind of thing, because he is a big player for him, and apparently, a big part of the club as well. The players seem to really like him, and also the player who's going to step up most likely is Antonio Briseño, the under-17 World Cup winning captain. So, it's going to be exciting, and it's a massive opportunity for him now. Maybe if he can do well these next 2 or 4 games, you never know. He might make it to a national team place next year. He might establish him. Yes, I'm going Tigres. I think there's going to be 1 goal in it, or if not, it'll be down to the final place in the league after a draw. On the other side, I'm just going for Monterrey to sneak it on away goals.
So, El Clásico Regiomontano in the final.
In the final.
That'd be fun. That'd be fun, especially for the city of Monterrey, which definitely have the fans who have always assisted, and the stadiums are great atmosphere. I think would be amazing for the league and for the city of Monterrey if those two were in the Liga. Actually, for the final. Good. Cesar. Actually, Tom, do you have to go?
No, go on, Cesar, if you want.
All right.
I think it's going to be close. It's going to be a good series. It's definitely a good series between Toluca and Tigres. I could see it going either way. But, speaking of players, Tom, since you brought up players that are stepping up, there's a 24-year-old Geronimo Amione who plays for Toluca, and he was given his he was given his first start of the season in the first quarterfinal game, and he scored. And then his second start of the team, he ended up getting an assist. I think he's going to step up, massively for Toluca, because right now it looks like Toluca's going to be playing with 2 strikers, with him and Velasquez up top, and I think that's going to be the difference. But at the end, I think between that game, it's going to be perhaps less emphasized on the strikers and maybe more on which goalkeeper makes the first mistake. Because I think Guzman and I think Talavera are both massive keepers. I think Guzman he got called up to Argentina national team, and I think that Talavera is obviously we all know how good he is. So it's going to be more so about perhaps which keeper is going to make the first mistake. And then on this the second series, I'm just going to go ahead and agree with Tom. I think Monterrey is going to scrape by them. I think they have more of the momentum. I think Babon's going to step it up, and I just can't see America. And it seems like they're in a little bit of a rut, and I think I think they're going to lose just barely against Monterrey.
All right. I think looking into both, actually agreeing on that, I think, like I said, would be really great for the city of Monterrey to have that. I'm going to go with America. I think they're going to wake up. I think we're going to see the first America kind of steamrolling everyone. Yeah, and I'm doing that for our brother Johnny, so he can be representation. That way he doesn't see there's so many bias. America and Tigres. I'll join in on the Tigres Tuca Ferretti, regardless of Juninho. I think that will be the final. I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be more dramatic, especially America. And then America loses. That's what. Just kidding. All right, well, we're wrapping up. Again, I apologize with the sound. Sometimes with live, it kind of does that. We'll be going forward, especially through the month of December. I have obviously a lot to talk about with the finals, the Club World Cup. We'll see how that goes. And looking up, trying to see if maybe we do a show, just kind of wrapping up the year of Mexican soccer, not only in the national team but also in the Liga. and I mean in the Liga, but kind of looking forward for 2016. So that should be fun. Keep sharing, obviously the site. Keep sharing the Mexican Soccer Show. We'll be looking at 2015 and expanding, having more live shows, talking about other things. But with that, I say goodbye. Cesar and Tom, last words for the show.
Watch. I think there's some Europa League games. And also, is it Europa League? There's some massive games tomorrow. I forget which ones. We'll have Tom say goodbye, and I'll let you guys know.
Tom.
Bye.
That was Tom's goodbye. All right, Tom. I know you gotta go, so we'll kind of keep on.
Copa del Rey. Why did I say Europa League? Copa del Rey. We might see Ochoa playing tomorrow. We might see Raul Jimenez getting some minutes. Watch it. We got Malaga and Atletico Madrid playing their own respective games tomorrow.
There it is. There it is. All right, guys. From us, Tom already left. Maybe we can talk about that.
Tom doesn't care.
Tom doesn't care. I'm out. He had a date. Yeah. Well, did you see Tom's hair today? I think I had a little curl thing going. So since you were talking about my Shakira taste, hey, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with Shakira, right? All right, guys. Well, we said fun. I guess we apologize for my problems with the mute button, and also FootNextSource.com being down all day today. Those hackers, they took down Xbox Live yesterday. They're taking down FootNextSource today. All right, guys. Have a great day. Good to see you again, and thank you again for hosting a couple weeks ago for this Mexican soccer.
No worries. It was fun.
All right, bye, guys.
All right, bye.